Should I count?
Mustafar, you ready, yeah?
Counting now, yeah? Or not? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all the Khuddam brothers who have joined us today for our weekly Saturday 5 p.m. Khuddam quiz. As always, of course, inshallah, we'll have a section for the khutbah of Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen, may Allah be his helper, a section for an article from the Al-Hakam magazine, and then inshallah a section for secular general knowledge. We've previously had this session on Kahoot, but this time, inshallah, we're trialing having this session now on a website called Slido. So the URL for that is slido.com, SLIDO.com, and the pin you need to join is 80106. So please do that as quick as you can, and then inshallah we'll look forward to another interesting quiz. Speaking of quizzes in general, why are we doing this? Why have we got the khutbah section, the al-hakam section, and general knowledge section? And there were no quizzes around using technology around the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So why has MKA picked this as a way of, as one of his activities?
It's a very important question, of course. Thing is, in this time, like you mentioned, it wasn't around in the time of the Prophet, but this time we're in the age of such technological advancements and modifications that we have to reach out to people in the best way possible. And this is the means that everyone's on, and we can't be left behind. We have to use it as well. We have to get on board with it, and of course, we have to reach out to everyone and tell them that look, this is the mode we're using. But of course, coming to the khutbah Jummah, it's essential for us, particularly now when we are on lockdown, when we are unable to go out and go to the mosque and physically be there. It's important for us to have a connection with Khalifat al-Masih, and that connection is through the Friday sermon. So what we're planning to do is, from the most recent Friday sermon, we give our listeners, our audience, these questions so that they can test themselves as well in a way, and see how much they've understood, how much they remember from the Friday sermon. And of course, from there, we will then, they can see themselves that, look, I've listened to it, I've understood this, and that will of course bring about a great change in them. They'll be able to understand the khutbah much better, and from there they'll be able to implement what Khalifatul Masih is saying in the Friday sermons as well.
Another thing is, why do we have general knowledge? Because those aren't even Islamic, so why have we got a general knowledge section?
Of course, it's important that, look, we're living in a time where we can't be left behind. We have to know, we can't just focus on spiritual knowledge. We have to know about secular knowledge as well. We can't, otherwise, what's the point of just knowing about spirituality when we aren't able to approach people who we need to have a common ground? And that common ground is the general knowledge of what's happening in our day-to-day world, and how we can, of course, build a relationship with people. Not everyone will want to have a relationship on a mere or a spiritual level. It starts from many different means. You can build connections with people just through, let's say, sports or other topics which have got nothing to do with spirituality. But of course, this is something which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this for the rest of the program. But I think we'll get onto the quiz now. And of course, we've got a lot of Khuddam which have come in. The numbers are rising up, and we're gonna. Hopefully, they're gonna enjoy today's session as well.
Inshallah. So if we're ready to move on now to our first section, we have here the first question, which is, which companion did Huzur speak about in his recent Friday sermon?
And the options that you have, was it Hazrat Miqdad bin Aswad raziyallahu anhu, Hazrat Musab bin Umair raziyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Talha bin Ubaidullah raziyallahu ta'ala anhu, or Hazrat Zayd bin Harsa?
These are all companions, all recently mentioned by Huzur in the khutbah, so it just depends if you were listening or not.
Yeah, and you have around 17 seconds left to try and choose one of them. Of course, we have to remember that these are, you try and think about what was the most recent khutbah, which is about which was the companion, which is most recently we spoke about. 3, 2, 1. The time is up. Oh, and this, we have some 5% of you have voted for Hazrat Miqdad bin Asad. 45% of you have voted for Hazrat Musa bin Umair. 40% of you have voted for Hazrat Talha bin Ubaidullah, and 10% of you have voted for Hazrat Zayd bin Harsa. But the correct answer is Hazrat Musa bin Umair Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu, which Hazur Anwar Aidullah Ta'ala bin Aziz spoke about in the most recent Friday sermon. And of course, these were those. Oh, we're going to go straight to the next question. Time's running up. Which place?
So quickly, second question. Which place was Hazrat Musa bin Umair Raziyallahu anhu sent to as an Islamic missionary?
The questions and the options that you have, was it Yamama, was it Bahrain, was it Medina, or was it Taif? These, of course, are places which, if you look into Islamic history, these all have great importance. So you try and remember where the places which Hazur and Raid mentioned, and you have 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the results are up. Oh, we have a draw in some of them. Okay, so 29% of you have voted for Yamama. 29% again have voted for Bahrain. 19% have voted for Taif, but the correct answer, which only had 23%, still good, was Medina. The place where Hazrat Musa bin Umair was sent to as an Islamic missionary was, of course, Medina. Now, the next question.
Thirdly, we have, at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, for what reason were people traveling to Mecca?
And the options you have, is it Hajj? Was it B, a pagan festival? C, a festival of poetry? Or D, an annual traders market? These are the options that you have at the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. For what reason were people traveling to Mecca? And if you remember, this is when the Holy Prophet ﷺ was there at that time, when he was propagating his message of Islam. You have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, a lot of you have got this right. 50% of you have voted for Hajj. 23% have voted for a pagan festival. 3% a festival of poetry, and 23% for an annual traders market. But Mustafar, what was the correct answer?
It was indeed Hajj. It's important to remember all 4 of these things at the time of the Prophet did happen in Mecca. So none of them are wrong. It's just the main reason Mecca was famous and still is famous is, of course, the pilgrimage around the Kaaba called Hajj.
Of course.
The fourth question is, what does the word Aqaba mean? Hazur mentioned this in his khutbah. It's also in the Quran. What does Aqaba mean?
Is it a high piece of land? Is it a seaport, a valley or mountain difficult to maneuver through, or the place of an abandoned well? Again, as you mentioned, this is something which has been mentioned in the Holy Quran as well. And of course, Hazur Anwar mentioned this in his most recent Friday sermon as well. So this is something which you need your thinking caps on. And of course, the knowledge of Islam is very important. You have 3, 2, 1. And of course, the answers have come through. 39% of you have voted for a high piece of land. 18% for a seaport. 43% for a valley or mountain difficult to maneuver through. And none of you, thankfully, have voted for the place of an abandoned well. And the correct answer was, of course, a valley or mountain difficult to maneuver through. That is what Aqaba means.
So if you did say a high piece of land, you got the rough idea. Next, fifth question is, in which Islamic battle was Hazrat Musa bin Umair, anhu, may Allah be pleased with him, martyred?
And the options which you have, was it the Battle of Badr? Was it the Battle of the Ditch? Was it Battle of Hunain? Or was it Battle of Uhud? You have to remember that Hazur Anwar Aydar Ta'ala bin Aziz is mentioning the Badri Sahaba. These are the Sahaba who took part in the Battle of Badr. But did he continue and take part in other battles? You have to find out in just a few more seconds. And you have, just get your thinking caps on and make sure that you get the right answer in try. And remember what Azul said, in your 3, 2, 1. Okay. So 13% of you have voted for the Battle of Badr. He did take part in that. We have to remember that. 6% of you voted for the Battle of the Ditch. 19% have voted for Battle of Hunain. And 61% of you, which of course is the right answer, have voted for Battle of Uhud.
When of course many companions were unfortunately martyred. It wasn't just Hazrat Mustafar bin Umair radhiyallahu anhu.
Yeah.
Sixth question is, apart from basic hand hygiene, what other things should we pay particular attention to with the whole corona pandemic that's currently going on?
And as well, has mentioned this for the past few weeks as well. Now, the options you have, was it washing shoes, washing your hair, blocking coughs and sneezes, or is it washing your car? You have 20 seconds. Think about what we're going through right now, what the government is saying, and of course, we will be ultimately going in line of what the government has been saying as well. So think about this. And how we can protect ourselves the most. You have 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. We have, of course, 100% votes going in for the right answer, which of course is blocking your coughs and sneezes. Zulian Aydar mentioned that you should, when you cough or sneeze, like the officials have said, put your face into your arm, into your elbow, and that way you will protect yourself, making sure that none of the, when you sneeze, nothing goes out and it's controlled. That's the main thing which we're focusing on now.
Seventh question is, how old was Tanzil Ahmed Barsab at the time of his passing?
And of course, this is the very unfortunate young Tifl who passed away. And the options were the 13, 14, 11, or 10. Something, of course, which affected all of us, hearing about the passing, the tragic passing away of this young Tifl. May Allah have mercy on his soul and elevate his status. Continue to grant the family patience and steadfastness. You have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, so a lot of you have been listening in, but we do have some people voting for the wrong answer. The correct answer is, of course, 11. He was 11 years old when he passed away, and 44% of you have voted for that.
Next question is, how many years ago did France ban the wearing of burkas, hijabs, and niqabs?
And the options which you have is 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago, or 15 years ago. And of course, Mustafar, the issue with the burqa has been quite prevalent in France in particular for a number of years now.
So interestingly, I've seen on social media people talking about the fact that now people are covering their faces to protect themselves from danger, which is exactly what Islam said anyway.
Yeah.
And people saying that when it's Muslims say it's bad, but when people say it's fine, which just goes to show Islam does the same thing, but there's different reactions, double standards.
Yeah. And you have 3, 2, 1. That's it. Time's up. These questions, of course, are coming from Al-Hakam, the website of the MDA Muslim Community Call, which puts articles and newsletters from the time of the Holy Prophet Wasallam. And 44% of you have got the right answer. 53% have voted for the wrong answer. It was 10 years ago when France banned the wearing of burqas, hijabs, and niqabs.
Ninth question is, which country has completely banned the sale of alcohol, just like Islam says? France, Canada, China, or Greenland?
And of course, we know, Mustafar, of course, the effects of alcohol is something which Islam has prohibited. The usage of alcohol is something which Islam has prohibited. And it's with quite clear-cut rules and instructions from Allah the Almighty on how and when it can be used as well.
NHS is suffering nowadays with the coronavirus, so if it is here, it only help because it reduced the burden on the NHS of alcohol.
Yeah, and we have just 3, 2, 1 second, 0. Time is up, and 84% of you have got the right answer, which was, of course, Greenland. They have completely banned the sale of alcohol. Kudos to Greenland for doing that. And the next question is, what percentage of adults said that they go to pubs, bars, or clubs in the most recent survey? Was it 46%, 47%, 53%, or 54% of adults who have said that they go to pubs, bars, or clubs in the most recent survey?
Which is already going to poison yourself by drinking alcohol, also contravening social distancing rules. So possibly one of the worst things you could do, especially at this time.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have a mixture of different votes coming in. 46% or 16% have voted for 46%, 6% have voted for 47%, 58% of you have voted for C, which was 53% of adults, which of course was the right answer, and 19% of you have voted for 54% of adults who say they go to pubs, bars, or clubs in the most recent survey.
The 11th question is, where is it reported that the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ forbade consuming the meat of beasts having fangs?
Was it in Sahih Muslim? Is it Sahih Bukhari? Is it Jami' Tirmizi? Or is it Sunan Abu Dawud?
As in, these are all books of hadith, as in this is a saying of the Prophet ﷺ. So as in, what we're asking is, what's the reference for this saying? And this saying is found in which book? Which collection of hadith of the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ?
Come on, Khuddam. 10 seconds left. Again, we all know Sahih Bukhari is the most authentic. Is it that book? You have to think. 3, 2, 1. Your time is up. And of course, Sahih Bukhari is the right answer. 57% of you have voted for that. Well done to all of you, Khuddam. You got that right. 37% of you voted for Sahih Muslim. Again, it's the second most authentic book of Islam.
Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, narrated that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would never do what?
Eat to his full, eat 3 times a day, eat in golden plates, or eat bread and meat together. This is something which a lot of us should know about. With the very famous narration of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we stated how much we should eat. How regularly should we eat, and whether we should keep some of our belly empty. Is it a quarter of our belly? Is it half of our belly? 3, 2, 1. And well done. As we expected, our Khuddam are good in their general knowledge, and 87% of you have got the right answer, which was eat to his full. This is something which the Holy Prophet ﷺ would never do, and he advised that you should leave 1/4, 1/3 of your stomach empty.
13th is, which of these qualities of a believer did the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ state? As in, which one of these is the quality of a believer?
Is it satisfied with little food? Is it that he eats a balanced diet, to exercise daily, or doesn't hurt animals? These are qualities of a believer, which the Holy Prophet ﷺ stated that this is something which should be in a believer. Now, whether that is satisfied with little food, eats a balanced diet, exercise daily, or doesn't hurt animals.
Doesn't hunt animals.
Doesn't hunt animals, sorry.
There's a difference there.
Yeah, of course, a big difference there, big difference. Okay, so 94% of you, that's a very good number, have gone with the right answer. That is satisfied with little food. And of course, Islam teaches about being content and being satisfied with what you find, what you have, and not to be extravagant, not to be excessive in your food. Next question is...
which of these things is lawful to eat? Which one of these things can we eat? Which of these is halal in Islam?
Is it blood, that which dies of itself, that which is slaughtered, that which the name of any other Allah has been invoked, anyone other than Allah has been invoked? And the Holy Quran is quite explicit in this and states that these are the conditions, these are the animals you can eat in this condition.
There are four things. Which one of these four things is not in the Quran?
And you have 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, so we have 12% of you who have voted for that which dies of itself. 15% of you have voted for that for which the other name of anyone else other than Allah has been invoked. And 73% of you have voted for that which is slaughtered. It's that which is slaughtered in the proper Islamic way. That is, of course, the correct answer. And the next question, this will be general knowledge now. Where would you find the Spanish steps? Find the Spanish steps. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So the correct answer is actually in Rome, in Italy. This is where you will find the Spanish steps. 26% of you have voted for Spain, 9% of you have voted for Berlin. In Germany, 15% voted for London, but 50%, which is the correct answer, have voted for Rome in Italy, a very famous city, which has a lot of history. I've actually been fortunate to visit it as well. It's a very beautiful city as well. Who won the UEFA Champions League in the years 2006, 2009, 2011, and 2015? Is it FC Bayern Munich? Is it Real Madrid? Is it Besiktas from Istanbul? Or is it FC Barcelona? You know, they play the tiki-taka football as well. Mustafar, I don't think you play football or watch football then.
No. I used to a lot before my knee got injured. I still watch it though. Yeah. Obviously, there isn't any football right now, of course.
Yeah, so you have 3, 2, 1 second left. And of course, but a lot of you have got the correct answer. That is 71% of you have voted for FC Barcelona, who of course won the Champions League 2006, 2009, 2011, 2015 with one of the greatest midfields in the world. We have Sergio Busquets, and you have Xavi, and of course you had Iniesta. These people for a number of years dominated European football. And of course, a lot of our Khuddam support them as well. Which basketball player passed away in a helicopter crash recently? Was it Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or Dirk Nowitzki? A lot of you should know this. A very famous basketball player, very influential in and around the world. And of course, very sad that he passed away recently, along with other members and his own daughter, who was also a basketball player as well. And you have 5 seconds starting from now. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, a lot of you have got the right answer. Some of you have got the wrong answer. 9% have voted for Michael Jordan. He is still alive. 88% have voted for Kobe Bryant, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year in a helicopter crash. Next question, Mustafar.
Is what is Oskar Schindler known for? Was it for killing 2,000 Jews? Was it for being the second in command in the French army during World War I? Was it for saving 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust? Or was it for running a chain of KFCs in the Maldives?
And of course, there's a very a great film which has been directed on this as well, known as Schindler's List. Talks about the World War. As a big hint in there as well. And if you're interested in history as well, it's a decent film to watch. Which speaks about the history of what happened. And you have 3, 2, 1 second. The time is up. And of course, 79% of you got the right answer. It was saving 1,200 Jews during the Holocaust. This is why Oskar Schindler was known for. He's very famous for that. When was Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya initiated? Was it 1937, 1938, 1957, or 1943? Of course, this is something which was initiated by Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad Khalifatul Masih Sani Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhum, who started the different schemes, starting off with Lajna Maila, then Ansarullah, and of course Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya, Atfal al-Ahmadiyya. But Khuddam, you should know, when was this scheme of Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya initiated? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And a lot of you have got the right answer, which is very good. 81% of you have voted for 1938. That was, of course, the correct year in which Hazrat Musleh Maud, known as the Promised Reformer, he initiated the scheme of the auxiliary organization of Majlis Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya.
20th question is, who created the first printing press? Was it John Davis? Was it Ram Chaudhry? Was it Johannes Gutenberg? Or was it Johann Cruyff?
So again, was it John Davis? Was it Ram Chaudhry? Or was it Johannes Gutenberg or Johann Cruyff? Johann Cruyff, of course, he's famous for a lot of things. Was also famous for making the first printing press. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, this could have been difficult for some of you. 13% of you have voted for John Davis, 9% of you voted for Ram Chaudhry, and 78% have voted for Johannes Gutenberg. Of course, is the correct answer. Johann Cruyff was a famous football player, a Dutch football player, also one of the best managers in the history of football. What was the capital of the Ottoman Empire? Was it Oslo, Venice, Constantinople, or Rome? These are the 4 options which you have. The Ottoman Empire, of course, one of the greatest empires in the history of the world, and how far and how much they dominated, and how much land they had, how they governed, is something which history will never really see something of its like ever again. And you have 3, 2, 1 second left. And the correct answer, of course, was Constantinople. 6% of you have voted for Oslo. None of you have voted for Venice or Rome, but of course the correct answer is Constantinople. And the winners have come forward. Number 1 is Salman Qamar. I don't know what to say about that. Raz has now come number 2. Well done to Salman Qamar for coming first. Raz has come 2nd. Shiraz Ahmed has come 3rd. Gulu Bhatt has come 4th, and Inara has come 5th. Well done to all of you. And Salman Qamar, with 2 minutes and 40 seconds, you've actually completed this. Well done to you. Whether you had the questions before or not, something we would have to see. But you've done very well. Congratulations to you. And of course, congratulations to all of our Khuddam for taking part in this quiz. Again, a reminder, these quizzes will take place every Saturday at 5 p.m. We're talking about, again, the Friday sermons of Khalifatul Masih, as well as Al-Hakam articles and general knowledge. Again, Salman Kamal, this is amazing. I wish we had you online to tell us how you actually knew the answer so quickly. What are your thoughts, Mustafar?
One of the most well-known missionary throughout Jamia and known outside Jamia as well. It's clearly for a reason.
Yeah, I think that's where we can leave that. But of course, well done to the rest of our Khuddam who took part in this quiz. Hopefully it was very enjoyable for all of you. Again, like we've mentioned, it is important that we listen to the sermons of Khalifatul Masih. They are an ocean of knowledge which is very essential for us in this time, so that we maintain a connection with Khalifatul Masih. Well, obviously we are unable to go to our mosques, but one thing which we can do is build a relationship with Khalifatul Masih. And this is the best time. We have time on our hands. We're at home. Listen to what Khalifatul Masih has been saying. There's some amazing, all of his sermons are amazing to listen to. And now that we have time, some more time on our hands, some more than others, so we should try and listen to as many sermons of Khalifatul Masih. Any closing remarks from you, Mustafar Saab?
First time I've got to take part in this, so it was a real honor for me. I've learned stuff as well. So alhamdulillah, it was a good opportunity. So thank you for having me.
And of course, Jazakallah to all our Khuddam for taking part. Next Saturday again, we'll be back with you at 5 p.m. and hopefully you will be more prepared. Again, Al-Islam, you have the Friday sermons. Al-Hakam, you have the websites. And of course, general knowledge is everywhere. And we'll be back next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.